All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Friday. Good to be with you all this morning after what looked like a potentially hooky day here, right? For lack of a better term. But not enough volume showed up in the December contract there. So certainly seems like we're probably going to see that transition happen probably a little bit today and then probably more so aggressively on Monday. One thing we're gonna have to just double check here, right, inside our trading accounts is if it starts to roll for us early. So potentially, right, what has happened in the past is that if you have ES1 inside your trading, it might force you to be ESZ, right, which will be the December contract instead of ESU. So they might roll just a little bit earlier. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. If we have any issues with that, I'll walk us through that process. Will be just as simple as literally switching to another contract. Prices will remain the same, etc., etc. Sorry, there might be a slight difference, in the price between the September and the December to account basically for that roll. So there might be a little bit of discrepancy there. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, and we'll figure that out here as things kind of come together. Obviously, today is a good day for a Capital Preservation Friday, right? It's been the first time in a long time where we've seen some sort of, honestly, more challenging trading conditions. It's been a while since I've had 2 red trading days here in a week, and although I don't anticipate that to be a one-off occurrence, it never feels fantastic, right, when it happens. Although I'm still green here on the week, I've been making that Taco Bell money this week, right? No real massive separation, no real massive breakdowns. And we've had some big moves that we just haven't really been able to get lucky and get on the side of, right, to a certain extent. Yesterday, still pretty much just a green day all day, but just wanted to chop us out a few times here in the morning before it ended up giving us that big run slightly later on in the day. So it's not personal. We can't really obsess over those details. We can't feel like the market is rigged against us. We can't allow ourselves to be tricked now into holding on to trades if we get stopped out or anything along those lines. We talk about this all the time, but we lose a lot, right? Not to say that we lose 70, 80, 90% of the time. That's not the reality. But even if you lose 35% of the time, right, that means that a lot of your days are going to kind of sting, right? They're going to kind of feel like shit. They're not going to feel like they're, it just doesn't feel like, the way you want, right? We always hyper zoom in on our goals and on our ideas and our objectives, and we want them to be accomplished immediately, right? Right now, right now, right now. And that's never the case, right? Our P&L does not move in a straight line. And it's the ability to lose small and in control that creates for us, right, that ultimate long-term satisfaction that we're going for. And I have found always as a trader that for myself, I am the most confident in my trading when I have recovered and bounced back from drawdown and made new all-time highs. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Where the only way that I can become actually sustainably confident in my trading is to survive my losings. So for me to be confident, I have to learn how to lose well, and I have to be able to bounce back from those outcomes, right, even if they feel like shit in the moment. So just a reminder here, right, that losing is not personal. It's not market makers hunting after your stop losses. It's not prop firms rigging the game against you. It's nothing along those lines. Some of the very best traders of all times, right? The traders that you read about in Market Wizards, the traders that, you see have incredible long-term track records, have win rates of 50%, right? So if that's good enough for them to make a significant amount of capital, we certainly cannot make it personal when we don't get the instant results that we want. We can't try to revenge trade that. We can't try to force a P&L objective. We can't do anything along those lines, because all that does is it just puts us in situations where we're chasing a feeling, not following our strategy. And the more that we chase that feeling, the more that we chase that, I don't know, I'll call it the golden dragon, right? I think that's what opiate addicts talk about. The more we then get addicted, right, essentially to the feeling of being profitable traders, not actually the technique behind what it takes to be profitable. So the more that we can get addicted to following our strategy, reinforce those positive outcomes and beliefs, then the easier it is for us to find the success that we crave and we're hoping for and we need, right, to become consistently profitable. So my rant of the day here today, right, if you want to call it that, the thing that I really want to focus on here is being obsessed with following my rules, being obsessed with following my technique, not allowing the noise and the variance of the market to make it feel personal, because I promise you it is not, and it is simply us, right, on an individual basis that make it feel like it is. So if we can avoid that, if we can not trick ourselves into doing anything silly along those lines, then that's where we can find success, right? And if success eludes you in the short term, that's okay too, right? If you fail your evaluation, if you give back some gains, if you get a payout and then blow your account, that's fine, right? It's all part of the game, and we certainly cannot make that personal or over obsess over those objectives simply because we need that immediate success here now, right? So that's the theme of the day here. Capital preservation, owning and understanding what this game actually is, right? I do hopefully my very best to show you the ups and downs on a day-to-day, a week-to-week, and a month-to-month basis. And also hopefully show you, right, that when we lose well, even if it fucking stings, right, and it doesn't feel good, that in a day, in a trade, in a week, in a month, right, you totally forget about that pain you experienced on Thursday, right, because you recovered and bounced back from those bits of suffering, right? And the only way that we can bounce back and forget about that shitty feeling is to remain in control, follow our rules, and create a consistent, repeatable process. So that's the only thing we're here to focus on today, guys. If we do that, we will make money. If we don't, then we're basically playing a lottery. And if we're playing a lottery, we're not going to make any money long term. Maybe find a little bit of joy intraday. Maybe we get a bit of fun. Maybe we get whatever, yada, 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 yada. But it's never going to be enough to create that consistent outcome that we're looking for. And we're all here to create that consistent outcome for ourselves. So with that being said, let's start mapping things out, figure out what we want to do here today, and finish off this Friday with an absolute bang. So good morning, Mike, Sarah, Tanja, Salstein, Bugs, Dustin, Jeff, Nate, Jason, Brian, Jeremy, John, David, Greg, Topher, Craig, Emil, Daniel, Antonin, and Herschel. Hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here, and let's get after it. So first things first, what's the count on the old ES? And let's start from there. Yeah, spot on, right? 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume. Right, and we're looking for a continuation towards, we'll say like 5680, 5670. You already have that mapped out. So we're at 5610 here right now. So go 5620, yada, yada, yada. And then maybe climb up towards like 5700. You can tell I watched some Seinfeld last night. And then to the downside here, right, because we've got that lack of a volume profile, we do have a narrative in both directions. And we'll say first starting point, right, 5600, and then like 5650. So sorry, 5550. Cool. VIX sub 17. So again, probably more of a bullish bias than a bearish bias. All right, NQ, what's the count? Similar, not so similar? How do we feel? Yeah, very similar story, right? 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume. So again, right, looking for that, we're at 19.5, so we'll go 19.6 all the way to 20K. Fine, nothing needs to change there. And then to the downside here, right, looking towards like 19.2 and then like 19,000. So we're at 19.4, maybe even go down towards like 18.5. So we'll go 19.2. Again, more of a bullish bias than a bearish bias, right? But let's just trade the system in front of us instead of trading our feelings. All right, crude. Again, 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume. So we're looking for a move towards 70, 50. And then beyond. Again, not super motivated to trade this. I've been liking trading pretty much everything but crude recently. And then to the downside here, 69 and below. Nice. Someone was saying they're trading gold. Nice little rally here. Looking good. All right, Apple. Green candle, decreasing volume to the upside, right? So similar narrative here without volume. We're looking for a 224 pop and then to the downside under 220. Tesla, bullish engulfing candle, decreasing volume, gap down. So 1 out of 3 here. Still confined inside Friday's range. So we'd like to see a breakout above, and then to the downside, right, still looking for a breakdown under. So we got a big range here. Good morning, Randall. Microsoft, 1 out of 3 again. And we're looking for a 428 breakout or a breakdown under 420. Nice. We got some key meme levels here today across the board. All right, Amazon. Looks like a little gap up, 20-cent gap up. So 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. And we're looking for a 187.50 breakout. Or a breakdown under yesterday's lows of 183.50. All right, AMD, really thin volume, probably the smallest relative volume that we've seen here. But again, higher highs, higher lows, normal body bullish candle, 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. And we're looking for a 152 breakout here now. And then under yesterday's lows, right, for a pop lower. So under 147.50. All right, NVIDIA, higher high, higher lows, normal body bullish. Outlier, but decreasing volume, gapping down by like 20 cents. So still a 1 out of 3 to the upside. Potentially, it's also a Friday the 13th, so who knows what that means. If you're superstitious. Good morning, Ben. And then to the downside here, 115 break. All right, Meta, ooh, big gap down here on a 2 out of 3 with volume. So we're looking for a 527 breakout, or again, right, a retest of the trend line's fine. The size of this gap down is maybe a little bit concerning, I wonder how much of this is OpenAI releasing their new model. It's just speculation, but that would be the only thing that I could think of from like a news narrative that could be influencing this. But also just want to share, I don't really read a ton of financial news, right? I'm not keeping up with all the headlines. I honestly don't give a shit. So unless it's like an earnings thing or something along those lines, probably not too concerned. All right, Netflix. Green candle, increasing volume, weak candle shape, gap down. What's this count? No, because it's a green candle and increasing volume, right? So it's still going to be a 2 out of 3 here to the upside, but it's a weak 2 out of 3 because the candle shape's not fantastic. We're still in the same narrative. We've been in here for a while, though, right? We want to see a breakout essentially through this pattern before we're willing to do anything aggressive. We're not really getting a resolution here. So I'm just going to go NA across the board on this. Kind of in the middle of that range, so I'll just sit this one out. All right, that's close. Just decreasing just increasing volume, sorry. So that means 156 breakout or gap fill and go. And then NA here to the downside. Cool. And then VIX, 16 spot 93. So selling off a little bit here this morning. Not exactly a tremendous amount of fear in the market. But yeah, still gives us enough volatility where we should get a little bit of range here to the upside or downside, right, if we do get that volatility showing up. And then we can kind of go from there. Any questions, team? Anything you want to go over? Happy to answer that now. Well, gap fill and go, right, on Google is we're gapping up, right? So a retest here would be basically fill this gap here to the bottom. So a retest of 155 and then climb to the upside. All right, so it's just a dip buy scenario, Emil. So we're going to be gapping up. We're going to be leaving space above us. It wouldn't be surprising for it to retest those 90 cents, find support, and then climb higher. Any other questions here, team? Yes, no, maybe. All right, so I'm going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee, spend a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day. Got to find myself a couple new pieces of paper as well to fill out. So I'll be back at it again in a few minutes, and we'll jump on then. All right, guys, so let's get ready for a nice trading day here. If it's slow, if we're not getting very much action, or if things look suboptimal, we'll just kill it early, right? Start the weekend off. No harm, no foul. If we get good action, hopefully it shows up early and we can have ourselves a strong trading day. But I'm looking forward to it, right? I'm excited, I'm motivated, so let's have ourselves a big session. If I were to quantify or ask, what's the sort of general theme we're seeing from the market here today, what would you guys say? Yeah, I mean, maybe not consolidation, but like weak trending price action or slightly exhausted trending price action. So if we look at it contextually, okay, we're kind of in the middle of the daily Bollinger Band, getting into maybe some sort of pseudo compression. So it does give us a little bit of flexibility, but we want to make sure we're not getting too much tunnel vision, right? That's been probably the hardest thing to deal with so far this week, is markets want to trick us and trap us a little bit. So basically, let's just not fall for that trap, right? If we get good volume, we get good momentum, should be obvious early. If not, no worries. We'll live to fight another day. All right, so we got about 30 seconds here till market open. Let's crush it, guys. Let's crush it. Any questions? All right, let's do this. Good morning, Suresh. So there's market open. And some early selling pressure means nothing yet. No, not today. We thought about it, right? But the idea here was that if we saw more volume or a significant amount of volume on the December contract, then we take today off. We didn't see very much volume in that yet, so happy to still trade today. Good early rip from NQ. Kind of a bit counter to Apple. We're finding dip buyers in some of our other tech names. So early dips getting bought. Not yet here. But guys, right, theme of the day here, don't do anything stupid, right? It's really the major theme. So I'm not here to force anything. I'm not here to rush. If I don't get a trade, I'm cool with that, right? Today is basically all about, yeah, see if we can get a nice trade here. something A plus, but if it doesn't set up, nothing comes together, I'm happy to walk away, right? Yeah, no, I know, Clark. I know. It's a relatively bouncy start here this morning, right? I don't think we're going to get increasing volume on this candle. So for now, still just a scalper's market. I might, 30 seconds to go, we might. Nope. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of expecting that to a certain extent, right? So we're being very patient here. Again, I've said if it's going to be slow here early, we'll just cut it early and not do anything stupid. But it's just ripping higher here early. And we're seeing a lot of elevators. But we're not seeing a lot of elevators backed by volume, right? So that's fine. Been a relatively hectic week. So a little bit of a calmer market today would not be a surprise. Although yesterday was more of a day of consolidation relative to the price action we've seen here early. Right, so last time we had kind of like that same size range. Big breakout day the following day. So let's see if that ends up being the scenario. I'm not super convinced here yet. This again has a chance to go increasing volume, but probably not the right candle shape as of yet. Did not. So maybe this 5-min. So again, not a confirmation. So we're being patient, guys. We're being patient. I mean, VIX sub 17 again here. Let's see if it's got the legs. Possibly a bit of a fake out here higher now. Personally, I don't. Yeah, it's not really moving. NQ. Ripping a little bit more. Interesting. So ES may be the most likely for us to get that increasing outlier, albeit less, or not that close to outlier. And Q would like to see it hold 19.5 now. Targeting 19.6 would be the setup. Just increasing volume there on the 3. Well, looking like a fake out now. Didn't hold that 19.5, right? That's where we talked about. So I'll wait. Just double check here. I have a feeling if we lose this 70, this could be a nasty little flush. Now, if we keep bouncing off of it, that could be a very low risk entry. There it goes. So now, right, we'd be looking for that fake out scenario. I'm not sure if I could qualify this as a low vol fake out. But if I get like a bearish engulfing candle here, maybe that sets it up a little bit more. SPY has a chance to give us increasing outlier on the 3. So we have a couple scenarios here. This would be a fake out, right, over 19.5. Would be the scenario here to the downside. And then our confirmation would be a bearish engulfing candle closing under 69.50. Seems unlikely now. ES flipping to the upside. So we're going to be focusing on ES here, guys. That's going to be outlier for me, touching the white line. So now going to be the aggressive. No, maybe still the pullback technique. So stop loss 56.16. So setting that up first, right? 56 oh, higher high. So now we want to see the aggressive 56, 20, 75 as our stop loss. And we're looking for elevator up, stairs down. Price have to be 22.75. So I could buy, you know, 5 contracts here and still be within my max risk number. Right, it's risking about $100 a contract. So watching ES to the upside here. Still haven't seen that elevator up yet. So that's what I'm waiting for. It's good absorption, but it's not moving fast enough. Okay, there we go. That's a bit of an elevator in both directions. And this trade would have to have a shot clock on it, right? So it would close at 9:59. So it has a chance for some scalps, but maybe not too much else. The low vol pullback. So elevator still in play. Well, inside breezy on NQ. NQ at 80 again. $81. $86, $84. Staying right under that 56, 22, 75 very tightly so far. doesn't kill me yet, right? But the longer it takes, the worse it feels. Vic still selling off. Feels a little bit like accumulation, but I can't decipher which direction yet. Systematically, my bias would be to the upside. Okay, now it's breaking down. So we're going to say no setup here. Q's wedging a little bit. And this may be starting to look a bit like a bull flag here on the 3. On ES, right? So this would be your setup. Double inside bar here. So I know if we're going to go short, right, we need to see a breakdown and hold of this wedge low. If we're going to go long, right, we need to see a breakout and hold of that wedge high. And then on ES, right, we need to see a bull flag breakout or this pattern completely invalidate. So our setup trigger here, right, low vol fake out, then wedge breakdown would be a good green to red reversal signal. It's like I need to get a jumper. So still wedging, that's still fine. And then SPY above that 623. It's got to be a hold under this point of contact, right? It's got to be a hold under, not a retest. So I'd say at this point, it's going to wait out till the data. We got 3 minutes to go. So no point to rush this. All right, so 10 seconds to go here. Whoa, there we go. And there we go. Algo fuckery. That was fun to see. Whew. Yeah, we made the right call, I would say. Jesus, what a ripper. That's a fuck you candle if I've ever seen one. Yeah, so consumer sentiment was the 10 a.m. data here, Joey. Yup, pure algos. Why don't I just put my life savings into that 610 bounce? I mean, just have to see where the first signal comes from, right? If we're going to trade this to the lows, we're going to need a pretty significantly big close here. If we're going to trade this to the highs, right, we're going to need it back above 500. So we're not really in a tradable range here, ATM. That's honestly such a fuck you. Oh, man. Impressive. Well, at least these patterns are invalidated. That's crazy. Rod, don't trade for a P&L number, man. Please don't trade for a P&L number. That's very expensive, very fast. Trade your process, not your P&L. Yeah, I could probably find it for you somewhere, Eugene. It's just some like copyright free music. Some playlist I found on YouTube. So again, if we hold above 19.5, that would be my catalyst to go to the upside here. So it's got some work to do on the volume, but we have a chance. Looked like it was a good pace there for just a second. And this would be a move targeting 19.6, right? 19.6. This is going to be really close. So we're not going to get it on the 3. We held the level, but not on volume. So we're going to need that 5 min to cooperate. That might be challenging. Maybe ultimately ends up being a 15 min signal. Or 10 min. We can play this on the 10 min. And then we're targeting just the upper end of this range here. Yeah, I just beat you to it just by a second there, Nate, but you're spot on. So if this thing can hold above 19.5 on the 10, we have the volume. All right, so we want to see the aggressive entry technique here. Right, because we're not going to trust a pullback down towards 19.414, right? That's too much. So let's see if it can find support here inside this range. Get back up above 19.5. And then elevator up, stairs down into 19.514 approximately. 51350. So starting to set this up here, right? Stop loss, 488.50, never mind. Stop loss, 485. So this would be a 1 contract play as is. Might be changing on us. Good support off of 85. That was a good bounce. It's got to get back up above 500. Elevator up, stairs down into the retest of this 10 a.m. candle high. A little bit, yeah. So far we've been on hands here, so everything intact. So see this reaction above 500, right? So we want to see elevator up here now, and then a stair retest of like 51350. So that would be risking approximately $570 per contract. So this would be a 1 contract play. So elevator, we're watching here. Got stuck just under high a day. 513.50 is what my limit order price is set at, right? Stop loss set at 485. So everything is good to go here. I'm just now watching for this correct reaction, and I don't have to rush, right, to set up my order entry windows. We got plenty of time here. Control the variables you can control. We got 2 minutes. If this thing holds on the above 500 here in 2 minutes, we might have a chance to play this on the 15. It's looking less likely here now. And again, if we get a high vol fake out, that would not be disappointing. Close, minute to go. So again, here so far, just avoided mistakes, right? This goes bearish engulfing and bearish engulfing on volume and like a 19.5 fake out on the 5. That would also be appealing. Don't think it's going to give me the volume though. 3 min might. Volume, but not the right candle shape. Can't play ES to the upside. On the 15, maybe. So ES on the 15, probably the only other thing that's in play here. Stop loss 56.22. Needs to break out above high a day and then retest 56.27.75. So again, can set this up, right? Stop loss 21.75. And you know your entry price has to be 27.75 or below. So this would be a 2 contract play. And this 19.5 continues to be a pretty significant area of resistance on the old index. So now we're watching elevator up, right above high of day, and then a retest of that high of day as our entry. Nope, not yet. That moved up 1 tick to drop 1 point, right? So it moved down faster 4 times more than it moved higher. I got to find a way of phrasing that better, but so far... Okay, that's elevator. So let's see if we can get a stairs pull back in. That was not stairs. That jumped down, right, like a point, not tick by tick. So again, we want to see elevator up and then tick by tick pull back, right, into that 56, 27, 75. That might be the way of describing it, to be honest. Now I'm thinking out loud. You want to go down tick by tick, but fly point to point on the upside, right? That probably makes a little bit more sense. All right, that's point to point lower, not tick to tick lower. Sounds good, Jeremy. Have a great day, man. And Q back under 19.5. Starting to... Oh. Maybe it's a little bit of revisionist, but I keep seeing fake outs here, right, at this 19.5 barrier. And we keep seeing weakness at highs pretty much everywhere. So maybe the easiest setup will be to the downside here now. Multiple attempts to break out and hold above those highs. It's not been able to do so. Not quite ready to call it yet. A 5-min candle closed at $4.99. So yeah, now watching for elevator up, right? So point to point climb and then tick by tick pullback. Well, historically, markets actually finished green on Friday the 13th. Something like 0.23% average return on the day, which outperforms the daily average by about 2x. So our setup's probably either a breakout here on ES, right, or a rejection on NQ. So we're still in play here a little bit. So it's moving tick to tick higher, not point to point. Oh, I've got, so I have my order window set up on a different monitor, right? So I've got 3 monitors set up, so it doesn't impact my order window. I'm not logged into any brokerage software on this window, right? Okay, well that's a nice little pop. So let's see if we can get a tick by tick pullback here. So yeah, I have one window I do for my all my analysis, right? One monitor for all my analysis, which is the live stream video or window that you see. I've got 3 charts to my right of that where it's like just a general market view. So I've got ES and NQ at various time frames. And then I also have just my order execution window where I've got my interactive brokers, the YouTube chat, and my prop firm logged in. Might be moving too much for us to get that tick by tick now. Fucking hell. So NQ ripping higher. Nice work, Antonin. So NQ here on the upside, right? If we can hold above previous high a day on increasing outlier volume, this could be a chance. Don't have the volume. I might have it on this candle. Oh, that's the 1 min. Whoops. Good man, good man. So ES might give us a chance. There's a big part of me that wants to see this thing just fucking bleed. So again, it's got to close under 19.5, right? Should get there on a volume standard. Okay. So NQ to the downside in play here. Targeting a move towards low a day. That's your elevator down. So set everything up here. Stop loss, 96. See how it reacts to this retest first, and then we can wait for that process again. Okay, that's good elevator. So 96 would have to be your stop loss. $14,496. This could be a 2-contract play. So if I could see it get stuffed at 96 again, that would be my joy. Okay, might not get a chance. Oh, fuck, I missed it. All right, gave me a nice pullback there. So let's see if we can get an entry. It's tick by tick pullback, right? All right, guys, I am in average price 19,476. Uh, 76.75, one contract. Stop loss at 96. There are a lot of lines here. Okay, here she goes. This thing is frickin' flying. All right, so we definitely had the right thesis, guys. Well done. That's why you don't trade your P&L, Rod. I don't want to rub that in your face, man, but that's why we don't trade P&L. Because when we get that number and we see it, we get greedy, right? We think we're going to get more. All right, so far so good here on this breakdown. Obviously, the size of this move, guys, I am protecting my entry here. I'm not going to let this go red. Great entry, Suresh. Great entry. Woo! This thing is flying. All right. Great entry, Dustin. Oh, you guys crushed me on entries. I'm not jealous. Where did that bounce off of? It bounced right off that algo low. Ooh, that's interesting. That bounce doesn't feel great right off that spot. It's not a coincidence that I got stuck there. Not a coincidence. Alright, I think I have to close this. Alright, guys, I am out. So closed it at 46. Yeah, I just can't get over that it bounced exactly off of the same spot where we saw the bounce happen at 10 a.m., right? That's not a coincidence. Not a coincidence at all. Yeah, makes sense. So we've seen buyers defend that area with enthusiasm. That could be our now setup for a bounce play back up towards highs, right? Yeah, I feel pretty vindicated. Can it close green? That would be huge. Yeah, I just can't get over that. That little bounce ripper was pretty gross. Theme of the week here a little bit though, right? We're able to get into that like 1 or 2 contract position. And we get some follow through and then just fucking dies. Sounds good, Antonin. Okay, so this 10-min signal might be our opportunity, right? For retest of ATA or today's intraday high. Whew. Pinball machine though with how much I'm bouncing around here. Okay, so 3 minutes, we should get an increasing volume standard. But we're just gonna, instead of mapping out right towards that red line, because we've seen price action get rejected at 31, give or take, that's gonna be our target, right? So it's increasing volume. So now we want to see, right, strong candle close. And again, right, we realistically want the aggressive entry technique. So let's see how this goes. That was a, yeah, wild 30 points. Market makes me want to work today. No, at least I'm green. Can't complain about that. But it sucks to be so close. Crack through that resistance and we're down another 100 points. Another one of those trades, right? Where maybe when it moves a little bit faster than you expect, that's like your signal to get out. One of those examples. Yeah, we're still in business here, though. This is a good bounce candle. Because that's even giving us a breakout signal. Okay, so 30 seconds here. Let's see. It's got to close strong, right? It's definitely a good enough candle shape as is. Five seconds to go. 2 seconds. So set things up, right? Be ready. So that's already, we know it's got to be the aggressive technique, right? Made a higher high first. So now stop loss 78. This could be a 2-unit play. So now we want to see tick by tick into under 90. Come on, give it to me. Come on. All right, guys, so I am in average price 19,490.50. 2 contracts. Woo! We want to see this thing hold above 5, right? So far, so good. But let's get more oomph here. All right, really good. All right, let's get some more. Break up towards 510 would be excellent. Ooh, don't want to see this pull back too much. Go, Psycho, go. Give me separation away from 500. Otherwise, I'm going to get paranoid again. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. All right. There we go. Now keep flying here, right? Keep flying. Who's in this with me? Nice work, guys. Nice work. So, all in all, right, this should be covering yesterday's hit by a comfortable margin here now. So, let's even keep getting some further follow through. That's $1,100. So, let's see if this thing can keep going. That's 12, 13. And there we go. All right. Fuck, I love trading. All right. So that's about 2K on the day here now. We're in great shape. Obviously, what we'd like to see here, because we've got relatively extended on this candle, is hold above basically that previous algo rejection, right? So if we got stuffed at those algo highs, or algo lows, sorry, right, for short, we want to make sure, right, we're clearing above those rejection highs. Make sense? And then if we do, then we can look to build up our position towards that red line, right? Towards that. Okay, so that's 16. There we go. We want to see this hold. 13.7. Come on. Whoo! Well, I'm glad I didn't take the day off, guys. I'll tell you that much. Two things that I like that I did today. Obviously, good entry, good flexibility with my thesis, fine. But I'm very happy that I found a new way of describing the pullback entry, right? So if you want it going up point to point or down point to point and pulling back tick to tick. So I think that's a nice revelation here. I think that's a lot clearer, right, of what we want it to look like from a behavioral standpoint. All right, so let's see if this thing's got the next leg up here. Come on. It's got to hold above that white line. 29.75. Got to hold above. So we were 0 for 2 yesterday, 2 for 2 today. Balance has been restored. Oh. Everyone feeling good? Ooh, don't like that. Good job, guys. Good job. But yeah, the point to point and tick to tick makes sense, right? Just to finish that thought out here. That makes sense to everyone? Cool. All right, time for a Zin. Zin for a win. Need a sponsor. Stop loss, right now it's, I will close my position if I can't hold above 529. I also won't let this go red. So my finger's just on the trigger. My stop loss is still my original stop loss location. I haven't had a chance to change it because I'm looking to build up my position right on a hold above. So I'll always let you know, Ben, when I change my stop loss. But right now, the plan is we want to see this candle close above 219 or 529, sorry. If it's not able to hold above 529, I will close this and take my win and move on and start the weekend early. So that's what the current plan is. If it changes, I will always let you know. So, good close here. Come on. So, you're probably looking to go short on your entry there, Emil, by the sounds of it. All right, guys, I am out. Fill price of 527. Did not hold above that white line. Not bad. So what was your stop loss set at then? Was it your stop loss above your entry price? That's what it's telling you, right? It's telling you that if you were to enter that trade, you would have been stopped out immediately. Nice work, Ben. And your entry order was what price? Nice work, Jason. Nice work. Let's go, team. Let's go. And yeah, right call to have closed it there. So, nearly 2,200 bucks on the day. That's not too shabby. Yeah, I think so too, Jack. And we read that correctly. We read that correctly. Do you have maybe delayed market data, Emil? Let's go, Topher. That's hell of a day on micros. Hell of a day, man. Hell of a day, Mike. Good job, guys. Good job. Woo! Yep, we nailed that. All right, well, based on the information that you're giving me, I don't know. Next time it happens, screenshot your order window and then send that to me. Hell of a day, guys. Hell of a day. Hell of a bounce back session today. Woo! Well, we made it binary, right? We said, okay, if the volume is still mostly on the September contract, we'll trade here today. It gave me that scenario, so why not trade, right? Great end to the week. Great end to the week. Woo! That felt awesome, guys. That felt awesome. And yeah, we read that really well. Feels good, team. Feels good. Any questions here, guys? Any questions? Okay, makes sense. So yeah, your entry price was below your stop loss location. So what you want to do is set your order window to be at the ask, right? Or at the bid, depending on what side you're trading. Right? Or do a market entry once it's under that fib zone. So guys, good chance here. I'm going to take Monday off. Monday is going to be the final day here of the roll. So good chance I take it off. Again, it'll be the same thing. If we see more volume in the December contract, then maybe. But I think it might be a good reason to take the day off. Because we got FOMC on Wednesday, right? So with the roll happening, finishing off for Tuesday, and then FOMC, I think Monday will be an extremely volatile session. And I'm not super motivated to get stuck in that. Be right back, guys, in a second. If you have any questions, fire them in the chat. I'll be back in just a minute here. It's all good, Emil. It's just a learning process, right? So the point of trading on paper here in the short term is so that you can basically learn those execution mistakes so they don't happen inside your live account, right? That's the number one priority there. So you get that basically muscle memory out of the way. You don't make those mistakes when it can actually cost you money. And it's a good learning lesson. All right, guys, we'll go final call for questions here. Final call for questions. Yeah, you have a great weekend too, Jeff. Yeah, you too, Suresh. Nope. Ben, when I trade a time frame, I trade everything on that same time frame, right? So if I have a 10-min signal, I'm doing all my analysis here on the 10-min. I could have switched to the 3 or the 5 or do whatever, right, and change my thesis. But then I start to look for confirmation bias, right? And it's confirmation bias of what my opinion should have been, right? So if I have like fear of a trade going against me, I'll find confirmation bias on a shorter term time frame to give me that information. If I'm greedy and I think will never end, then I'll find that confirmation bias on a shorter time frame. So no, never tempted to move my stop loss up. Initially, right, I was happy with that amount of risk that I had on that trade. So if I'm not happy accepting that risk and that initial stop loss, then I should be sizing down or waiting for a different entry. The plan here was always very clear for me. If it didn't hold above that 29.25 or 29.75, that was my reason to cut that trade early. And that was based on just simply single time frame analysis. So I don't look to bounce around and mix up time frames, because I think ultimately that just becomes too complicated, and I can always find a reason to stay in or find a reason to get out. So the more consistent I can make that process, the less confused I'm going to be. And what I don't want in my execution process is to then create that analysis paralysis, because if I start to look at too many different variables, that's just going to give me like weird thoughts when I'm looking to enter the trade. So it's gonna be like, oh fuck, I'm looking at a 10-min signal. What's the 3-min telling me? What's the 1-min telling me? What's the 15-min telling me? And I'm gonna confuse myself or either talk myself into trades that maybe aren't there, or talk myself out of trades that are there. So for me, I'm consistent with my time frame, consistent with my approach. If I don't get that absolute look that I want on that single time frame, and I'm happy with the risk that I have, which I was in today's circumstance, I have no reason to do multi-time frame analysis. Yeah, it was the high of this candle, right? So this was our rejection signal. We played this rejection to the downside, right? And then it reversed on us. So we knew that that was good intraday resistance, right? Because we've seen bears fail there before. So, okay, we mapped out our fibs, right, from our entry price towards that high of day. And when it couldn't hold that high of day on our 10-min candle on decreasing volume, when it made higher highs above that, that's a sign of lack of strength, right? So that then becomes the reason to cut the trade early and to go enjoy the rest of the day. So we had 3-to-1 risk reward approximately, right, towards this red candle's high, that 1020 high. And when we couldn't hold above it, it's a reason to close the trade and make sure we're not giving up too much P&L. Because this would have been very stressful here now, right? Would have pulled back to 87. And that would have sucked. That would have been a really bad feeling. Make sense? I'm going to assume that's a yes. So, everyone, have yourselves a fantastic weekend. I'm likely going to see you guys on Tuesday, not Monday. So, we'll be back at it again then. In the meantime, relax, recharge, right? Have yourself some me time here. Rebuild those mental capital stores, and we'll keep crushing it, guys, when we get back to it. 3 for 5 on the week here, right? With, 3 green days, 2 red days. But now nicely green. So another good day of examples of how your process is literally the most important thing. When we follow our process, we make money. When we skip those steps, we get punished. So excellent example here. Really good job compounding away, guys. And looking forward to seeing some more successful trades here in the future. So same deal like always. If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But in the meantime, have yourselves a great day, guys, and I'll see you soon. Peace.